Yeah, tell us that story.
Yeah, we was riding on Woodward. We was at that jean shop right there by the Colonial show. Remember when they bought a bunch of blue jeans and shirts to go. So it's like about, I'll say maybe 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. So Eddie like, come on, we going to Vegas. I'm like, man, y'all playing. So we go in the jean shop and we'll get some jeans and some shirts. So Jesse bought that, he just bought that 74 Fleetwood, that blue one. Yeah. And so we go to some, I don't know who house we went to. We went and got 4 ounces cocaine.
Now at the time, cocaine is not like everyone. It's kind of the rich man's drug, right?
Yeah, right. At that point in time,
you were doing cocaine, you were getting money.
Yeah.
Can you say that?
Yeah, right. So anyway.
Yeah. Can you say?
Explain at that time what it was like to be doing cocaine. I mean,
well, it was a rich man.
Remember, you're talking like
our
boys is gonna be gone. Yeah.
See, I didn't ever mess with none of that for a long time, and so one day they introduced me to it, but I never did like it. So anyway, we went somewhere and got 4 ounces. We took off for Vegas. So Butch and Eddie, he come up with a genius idea to get some salt shakers to shift it. You know, we didn't have systems, so put them in and shake it out. So Eddie gets so far, he there's some shit missing. I'm like, what you mean missing? So he said, Butch got that shit. He said, Butch come up with the idea to get the salt shakers. So we get to ride, and they getting high. So we hadn't got to Texas yet, but they started arguing about it. So Eddie couldn't get high. He had never had no business 5 hours.
Oh, you mean he wouldn't?
No, he didn't have no business. Because he couldn't. That pinch would get him like he didn't had 10 keys. So anyway, we get to ride, so Eddie go to talk about his girlfriend, Donna Jean, was in the glove compartment. I'm sitting in the back seat. I said, the glove compartment? He said, that she go right there. She getting up under the rug. I'm like, now both these guys that went out their mind.
Now you're on the interstate freeway driving.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to Detroit and get some more cash and then come back and go back. I said, well, why would we do that? So now I'm mad in the motherfucker now. So we had about maybe $150,000 in the back seat with me.
So you're riding on the interstate?
Yeah, we just ride.
150,000 cash.
Yeah.
Half cocaine.
Yeah. So anyway, he go talking about his girlfriend Donna Jean, and so him and Eddie get into an argument, and they go to but no, Eddie said, pull over, I'ma drive. That's what he did. And while he getting out the car, his leg get caught in the
seatbelt.
The seatbelt. Oh man, that seatbelt whooped Eddie's ass. He was hollering, screaming up and down the highway, couldn't get loose. So we get to the Texas border, cross the intersection and coming back. Now we're on our way back. Yeah, we're on our way back. So we get to Union, Missouri, and state troopers pull us over. So he asked Eddie for some ID. Eddie gave him Elijah's, his brother's ID. So the man said, no, this can't be you. I gave the wrong one. So Eddie gave him his ID, but his ID or driver license had expired. So the guy said, well, we're going to search the car. But we couldn't hide the money because the money wasn't in no suitcase or no bags. We just had it, spread it on the back seat. So he looked and see the money. So he get on the radio talking about we got three bank robbers. So cause they couldn't understand how we had that kind of money, and, you know. So they found out who Eddie was. So they took us to Union, Missouri to this police station. So we sit out in the car about 2 hours after they arrested Eddie. We sitting in the car. So next thing you know, state troopers come back out and said we had to come in. So we come in. They got a hangman loose. You know, swinging and it's just a shadow. So when we get in the door, I'm like, they finna goddamn hang us. So they had already had Eddie locked up. So the next morning, Milton Henry come and got us, and we got out. And we left and on our way back. But it wasn't, like I said, Eddie was, I think.
What did you do in the organization?
I was selling it. I was selling dope.
Did you
I was working in the houses. And when he first started, me and him was staying at the hotel on what's the name of that? With him and
Royal?
Donald.
The Royal Hotel or something?
What's the name of that hotel? It was on Woodward, that hotel. No, the one out there in the park.
Not the Royal?
Yeah, what was the name of that? No, it was down the street from the Cavalier.
The one where they killed the boys at
No, that was.
the Algiers?
No, Johnson, but it had another name to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, me and Eddie was standing there, so Eddie told me, he said, you go find 5-0 now. I don't think Butch hadn't even got hooked up in it yet. And so he pulling it, so he said he was gonna start selling raw. So anyway, so I go get 5-0 and all us, and that's when Eddie decided he was gonna quit selling mixed jive and sell raw.
Wait.
Yeah, he's gonna start selling weight. So yeah, he said, well, who you wanna go with, me or Five? And I said, well, me and Five was, we run together. All of us was like childhood kids.
You grew up in Black Bottom?
Yeah, I grew up in Black Bottom. So we all hooked up, and when I came home from penitentiary in 70.
What'd you go to prison for?
Robbery. So they had, when I came back, that's all I could talk. They was talking about Eddie Jackson. I said, no. Eddie Jackson ain't got a dime. He's a big old fat guy. He ain't got no money like that.
So when you left, Eddie was a regular guy?
Yeah, he was just starting. He was just getting into the business. That was like 60, 68. So they
when you get out in 70,
he the man. He the man. So he come got me. So, but he wouldn't let me do nothing because I was on parole. But his brother was, come and got me. Said, man, we need you to go up here and work for, do you want to? I'm like, I ain't got no problem with it. So at that time, I was getting like.
Well, how did that work being in the spots? Like,
while I was showing, it was great. I mean, we was making like, he was getting us like a quarter, which was $45 then, $35 to eat, $40 just for parking. So in other words, we was making like $150, $200 a day, plus I was getting $500 a week.
Oh, okay. So you used to make, that was a lot of money.
That was a lot of money then. So
now, unlike now, working in the spots was not that unsafe, or the murders hadn't really got too bad?
No, murder was the thing then.
So that had started to kick in.
Yeah, that had already, that was therefore Eddie even got into it.
Tell us about the safety and what it felt, how.
Well, like I said, back then I was a little headstrong, so murder or shooting and all that was the norm for me. So, but that's what me and Eddie wouldn't agree at. because the people that was into all that kind of stuff, you know, he shied away from it. But, you know, back with me, the guys I was running with, that was the norm for them. But Eddie he would never tolerate that. And
you think that helped his organization?
yeah.
That helped his organization.
That helped his organization back then to tremendously. But see, what I used to try to explain to him was, this was the thing for people then, you know, these kind of guys then. And, you know, I didn't think he would survive that. Because, you know, I used to go to after hour joint. And he was one of the main figures that the stick-up men and all that wanted to get.
How did he avoid that?
Well, he had the right connects out of New York.
No, how did he avoid the stick-up men?
Well, like I say, he had the right connects with the people in New York, and they came here and collected up a few of the robbers, the guys that was sticking up, and like tell them, like, if anything happened to this guy, there'll be no more dope, and y'all won't survive with none of that.
Oh, wow.
Now, Hucklebuck, in the 70s.
What if I told you that the illegal drug business wouldn't be possible without the American government?
Treason against the American people committed by Central Intelligence.
For a meeting with the CIA, and you will have your indictment dismissed in federal court.
The U.S. government cut deals and bestowed favors on brutal dictators, malevolent generals, and murderous gangsters in every corner of the globe.
You're getting emotional again.
You might think it was just a conspiracy theory. You'd be wrong.
Drugs were in the black community. Nobody really cared.
All the heroin was coming from Italian sources, Jewish too.
The African American community has quite a debt to what we would consider criminal enterprise.
You know, only poor people got the time to make moral judgment.
This is black organized crime.
Yes. Yes.
You might think that Timothy Leary's quote to tune in, turn on, and drop out with LSD was meant to change America.
Do you have the feeling of reality when you look at this paper and you hold a pencil in your hand? No. Yes.
But what if LSD was really part of a secret U.S. government mind control program? Turns out that it was.
I give the CIA a total credit for sponsoring and initiating the entire consciousness movement of the 1960s.
Early '65, I decided that I really wanted to make a lot of LSD and give it away.
International drug trafficking was subordinate to the national security interests of the United States.
American Dope. For the first time, the real story of the global drug trade, told by the undercover agents, kingpins, and prosecutors who were there at the very heart of darkness.
The city's ever seen?
He was big in Detroit ever. Gon' see. Eddie Jackson was the biggest guy that Detroit or Michigan would ever see. And far as the country, he may have been the third or fourth biggest person in the United States that I knew, because I traveled all over. And I knew a lot of them big guys.
Tell us about Courtney Sr.'s personality and him and Eddie's relationship and how they worked together.
Well, they had a real tight relationship.
What was Courtney Sr. like? And what was his role, or what did you see?
Well, he was number one. You know, it was like him, then Butch. And that was, you know, that's where they ran it. And let's see, Courtney, Big Willie, Adolph, Rudolph, and all them was they, like I said, they went their way, and Five went his way. You know, when he started selling the way.
But they were still all under Eddie.
Yeah, everybody was still under Eddie. And like I said, well, Courtney was right there, you know. Courtney never do too much, would get the money, you know, but he was, you know.
He was moving the chess piece.
Right. They call him the field marshal. So he operated the streets. And that's how we all got, caught up, in that. So
Now, do you remember when the indictment came?
yeah, that was in '71.
Were you in it?
I was there, but I never got caught in it because for one thing, I didn't run with them in the streets, or I had my own separate way of doing my thing. They had their way of doing theirs. See, but I was mostly hanging in the street, so I would give him information on things or people in the street that I would hear about him or certain,
Did you ever get any trouble for this ring or no?
No, I never did get
arrested.
I never got caught up in that. I did it for 40-something years. Never had a narcotic case, period.
Tell us some memories of Black Butch.
That was where he was working at a gas station right there at St. Wine.
Can you say his name?
Black Butch, Tommy Sharp. And he was at the gas station. And he like I said, he was about 17, 18 when he come into the organization, which was about 71, 72. And he wasn't even in that I wouldn't accept, tell him that wasn't the norm for him. He was like what I would call a square guy.
Oh, Butch.
Yeah. Eddie just took a liking to him and they just took off as a relationship. Cause one thing he could do was drive. He could goddamn drive. He do some drive.
Did you ever go out to the house in Southfield?
Yeah, I was out there when they was building it.
What was that house like?
No, it was the most magnificent house I've seen at that time. Because I think he had, when he purchased the house, it wasn't big enough. And he tore the house down. It was a doctor's house. And he tore the house down and revamped it, redid it. Him and Courtney stayed next door to each other. And it was like a dual level. Go down in a little patio, little section. Then he had grand piano. He had a magnificent house. And like I say, he was the baddest guy that I knew, and I knew everybody.
Did you ever know of Eddie hanging out with Donald Goines? Did you ever remember seeing Donald Goines around?
I knew Donald Goines. When he got killed, he stayed right there on Oakman and what was that? Webb.
He got killed in Highland Park. Yeah.
Right there.
Because Courtney Sr. said he remembered Donald Goines telling them, I remember everybody and you guys were the best that ever did.
Right. Donald Goines was a writer then.
You remember Marzette and Claxton?
Claxton. I never cared. He was
Did you know?
He was the police. I knew him. I ain't like meet him. I knew him. I knew all of them. It wasn't too many people at that time.
Compare Marzette with Eddie Jackson.
There wasn't no comparison.
Can you say that?
Yeah, there wasn't no comparison between Marzette and Eddie Jackson. Marzette had a controlling thing where Eddie had used mental. And Marzette and them was into murder and kidnapping and all that. And there wasn't no comparison between. Eddie didn't compare with nobody that I knew in the streets at that time. I mean, it wasn't nothing close to him. Wasn't nothing close to him.
Yeah. So now as an older guy looking back, your remembrances of that time, what did it mean to your life, and do you have any regrets, or do you think that you guys had a negative or a positive impact on the community?
Yeah, positive. All this thing was positive. It wasn't that's all he thought about. Now, that's one thing with him. He thought about the community first. Then, firearms dope came secondary, because, you couldn't mistreat nobody, and if he would come down every day and passed out $15,000, $20,000. Passed out. And we would get in the car, and by the time we got over here on Benson, where his house was at, all the money he would give away, the people would come right back to the house and spend it back with him.
Yeah.
So, and he used to love to gamble. He loved to gamble. And that's all his thing was, just gambling, selling dope.
Do you have any regrets?
Nah, not with him. None. I mean, me and him go back to 9, 10 years old. And that's you know, man, I never had no regrets with him. He was one of the best people I ever knew. And I just, like I said, and I couldn't understand him being in the business. I mean, with the charisma and the way he carried himself, I never would have thought that he would have got into that.
Do you remember his father who owned the pool hall?
Yes, father, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about being a little kid on Hastings Street and seeing his father and just what that was like and how it was different from how Detroit became now?
Well, Eddie, his father was like, he had, Elijah.
His brother was his
brother. See, and his brother was his heart. His brother was, you know, so when his brother died, and I think that turned his whole world around. And that's when Courtney come in. I mean, really got set in after he died. But his father was like a little strict with them.
His father was a big deal in the community, right?
Yeah, his father was, you know, how would you say it? Cause he owned a few houses or places, you know, back then, and you know, at that time, you know, you wouldn't think that a black man or a black person at that time had the pull or the connections that his old man had. But
so that's probably where he got his, you know, Eddie obviously had a lot of business acumen.
Right. Now he had all that. Well, normally none of us had that business side of us. None of us had that. We didn't have none of that. Now Eddie, he had all that. The business side of the thing. He knew how to control things. He had everything controlled and, you know, put around decent.
All right.